like look at a lot of the psychopaths. You'll see in a lot of the pictures, their eyes are big because they don't know what to do in shots and stuff. So it's almost like they just drop their face for a second, and so they don't have social cues. So why they're considered good at manipulation stuff is because they had to learn everything. It actually costs like a few $1 million every time in the States to put someone to death. So it's more expensive, and then for Canada, it's around I believe $70,000 a year for a medium security one inmate.
A pathological liar, then.
Yes.
What would cause them to act in such a way?
Narcissists, Machiavellians, psychopaths, they're all very good at this.
I'd like to welcome Jaymes White to my show. An incredibly interesting individual, and let's get into it. Jaymes,
thanks for having
coming.
me.
Oh,
yeah.
buddy, I'm so fucking excited to talk to you. Tell me what you do.
So I guess I'm known for doing seances across Canada. So this is our 10-year anniversary. We've had 25,000 people attend them. Mm-hmm. But then my other side is I'm known as a mind reader. Like I train detectives on how to profile people, how to interrogate people, and I also teach at different universities.
Okay, we're definitely going to get into the seances, but let's talk about, so you would describe yourself as a mentalist, correct?
I guess kind of a mentalist. So it's basically using psychological principles that are like not common knowledge, but tricks of the mind, I guess you can call it, in order to read someone. So for example, if you can tell if someone's left or right-handed, I'm just giving like a very easy example so people understand, is you would pay attention to their belt buckle to see if it's on the right or if it's on the left. That's one way to indicate which way you are.
No shit.
Yeah, it's pretty. And the other thing is tattoos. Generally, tattoos and watches are on the non-dominant hand. So if they have a tattoo, or if they have a watch on their left hand, they're more likely right-handed and vice versa.
Okay.
And then you're also paying attention to the shoulders. So mostly your dominant side is a little lower.
Okay.
So it's kind of stuff like that.
So you would say that you're very analytical when you meet somebody?
Yeah, so I think very analytically. It's almost like, think of it as like a million. It's like you're putting someone in a box and there's a million statistics and you just kind of notice, oh yeah, the belt's to the right, so he's right-handed. Oh yeah, this. And then it's very, my mind's really weird. Yeah.
Okay, so you were saying that you teach police officers on how to identify. First of all, let me ask you for my own personal edification. What is the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath?
So in my opinion, so this has kind of been the common talk is when we were in university and stuff, they're essentially the same thing.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So that's, I don't know if it's the media or whatever said they were different, but when you actually like look into it, they're basically the same thing. It's just the sociology wanted their own version of what a psychopath is what I believe.
Okay. So
I always kind of identify them as the same thing because a lot of people say, oh yeah, sociopaths aren't as bad as psychopaths. They don't kill and stuff. But like even psychopaths only kill like 0.001% of the time, right? It's very rare.
Really?
Yeah. So what I kind of more focus on it, I would say, is if you look at it in a statistical sense, 7% of the population is under that triad. So psychopath, you can say a sociopath, Machiavellian, like that, narcissism, 7% of the population. So when you think about it, you're dealing with them all the time.
Right. Then you would say that there are degrees.
There are different, yeah. So it's the same thing as like intelligence, the same thing as everything. There's different degrees of how much of a psychopath you are, if that makes any sense. But they're stupid in a weird way. And why they're stupid is because to be a psychopath, you're doing the same flaws, if that makes sense. So you could be the smartest person in the world, but because you're a psychopath, you're an idiot. Because they're basically, think of them as children. So basically when you're a child, everything revolves around you.
Yep.
Everything matters to you. You know, like the only thing that matters is you. So right now, me and you, I'm sitting here, I see your perspective. Like if like I see you as a person, I know your perspective. If you say something, I don't want to hurt you. Where them, they can't see you. There's only them. Because that's the best way to describe it. Your perspective doesn't exist in their brain.
Right. So they lack empathy and compassion.
Lack empathy, and they don't understand it because they've never had it. So a lot of people are like, psychopaths are not emotional. That's not true. They're really emotional, but it's only towards themselves. So a good example would be Ted Bundy when he got caught and stuff was crying and everything. And he wasn't crying because he hurt the victims. He was crying because he got caught.
Right.
So it was there's emotion, but it's towards yourself only. There's no other. So if you think of it as like, say you're the Earth and there's planets around you, they don't see the planets where we would see the planets.
Right. Okay.
So they're much different than most people think. Yeah.
So you touched on Machiavellian,
yeah,
which I actually agree with a lot of his philosophies, both in business.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this is going to fucking go. And narcissistic tendencies. So elaborate on those.
So in order to be a psychopath, you have to be a nurse. You have to have the narcissistic traits.
Okay.
But in order to be a narcissist, you don't have to be a psychopath.
Okay.
They also believe with narcissism, it's like human made. So what mostly happens is a tragedy or something happens to you, create a barrier around you.
Okay.
So the kind of theory or the stuff that a lot of people talk about is they believe it was like it happened in your life.
Okay.
Versus a psychopath or a sociopath, you could argue maybe they were born that way or they had the right. No one actually knows, right? No one knows.
I heard there's a psychopath gene in the body. Is that true?
It's hard to prove because there's a million people who have had psychopathic parents who aren't psychopaths.
Ah,
right.
Okay.
So that's why no one knows. And so it could be the environment. So for example, if we use like Canadian history, what was his name? Paul Bernardo.
Yep.
So we know he's obviously a textbook psychopath.
Okay.
But his dad was like a peeping Tom and everything. So if you look at the criminal history of his dad, it kind of got passed down. So if his dad wasn't that, would he have become what he became? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't become as extreme. It's hard to say, right? Because you can't prove either side.
Do you think that childhood trauma, and I hate to use that cliche excuse for someone's poor behavior and to any extreme of poor behavior, like, you know, my parents didn't love me enough or whatever the fuck the excuse they want to give. But can trauma affect someone to that degree?
I believe it does, but the other thing is there's a million people who are resilient. So like think about it, you might get one person who's a serial killer, and serial killers aren't that common no more. And people always ask me why.
Yes,
because our technology and everything's so advanced. You don't get to become a serial killer. You have to kill 2 or more people.
That seems very low. That's an easy bar to hit.
It's an easy bar, but what happens most of the time, they get caught on their first.
Really?
Right? Because look at the technology. We have cameras. We have all this technology that people like John Wayne Gacy and stuff don't exist now because they're so stupid. They would have got caught early on. If you look at John Wayne Gacy, is it okay if I talk about this?
Yeah.
If you look at John Wayne Gacy's case, he actually got charged with sodomy of a kid and got a 10-year sentence before most of the killing started.
Okay.
Then he went to prison. I don't know how you only get 10 years for that, firstly. Yeah. And then he goes to prison. They're like, he's a model citizen. We're going to release him early. And that's when all the murders basically started. So he should have been in prison for life before that happened, right?
Okay, yep.
But also all the evidence would have been on him. Like if you look at modern technology, he's getting caught right away.
Sure. I was talking to my fiance about this because she was watching that. She loves that monster series, right? First of all, should I be concerned that my fiance loves all these psychopath dramas? Like, is she gonna wake up in the middle of the night one day and just like fucking end me?
There is a high probability. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It was a joke. It was a good joke, by the way. But no.
Jackie,
I think it's just an interest because you don't. It's almost like how is that even possible? Like, how did that actually exist? So I think there's an intrigue in serial killers and stuff.
But why are people so fascinated with them? Like, again, the Ed Gaines, what's that fucker's name? Gaines?
Ed Gein?
Gaines?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's all I hear people talking about.
So the show is not accurate. So what I mean by that is like 90% of the stories and stuff on there is fabricated.
Okay.
And that really pisses me off because his story is so insane as it is. Why do you have to fabricate the whole thing?
Yeah, sure.
So with him, he was an interesting case in the sense of like, he's technically, I know they're calling him a serial killer on the show. He only killed 2 people.
Right.
And there were 2 people that kind of looked like his mom. He wanted to take the body, make literally a suit of human skin to be inside his mom. That's literally what he was trying to do in his brain.
Well, that is fucked up.
And I would say that's pretty insane, like mentally, right? He's mentally insane. And most serial killers are mentally insane. They're not, a lot of them are not psychopaths.
Really?
Yeah, that's another common thing is a lot of them are just disturbed and insane.
Wow.
See, it's fascinating, eh?
Yeah.
There's some that are obvious, like even if you looked at Dahmer thing. So Dahmer, some people think he's a psychopath. I think he more had borderline personality personality disorder. And the reason you're saying is he was so obsessed with wanting people to love him.
Okay.
That he would like basically try to turn you into a zombie so he would be with him forever. Also, when he was doing his tortures and stuff, he wasn't really, if you notice, he always got them, he knocked them out basically. He made them drunk. So you see what I'm saying? Versus other ones enjoy the sadistic torture. He never did. So he was more borderline, I feel, where in the sense of he just wanted not people to leave him. It's really creepy.
Yeah.
It's very creepy.
What I surmise from all this is that a lot of the serial killers that are, so popular, I don't think they would exist today, not only because they would get caught, but I think we are more advanced in diagnosing.
1,000%.
Right.
Yeah. 1,000%. Like our mental health and everything is a lot better that you can kind of figure it out. That I think in our society right now, like how many serial killers have we heard in the past 5 years? I can't even name one. Where back then they were prevalent, right?
Sure. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you mentioned...
we had that the guy in Toronto like 10 years ago, MacArthur or whatever, 15 years ago. I forget his name, Bruce MacArthur, I think it was, on Church Street or whatever.
Don't trust Bruce's. They're shady fuckers.
Yeah. I think that was, I don't remember, but it was a while back is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the only one I recall was the Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka.
Homolka, and she was like the brains behind it.
Yes, she's out too.
I don't know how, like it's such a big injustice. Like she was the brains behind that.
Yeah, she's out, he's still in.
Yeah.
And he tried to get out recently, I believe. He was up for parole.
Yeah, so how that works in Canada is basically you get, because the max sentence is 25 years, but if you get labeled a dangerous offender, you never get released. So everyone was freaking out, oh no, there's a parole and stuff. It's a technicality. But if you're labeled dangerous offender, you can never get out. He's never getting out.
How would you diagnose someone, or how would you assign someone a dangerous offender label?
So I think that what they do is they look at the crime and everything. So when you look at him, there's rumors he probably was a Scarborough rapist. I don't know if they ever confirmed that or not, but he was like,
right.
It kind of, and then, you know, the fact that they killed 3 or 4 people. I don't remember how many it was.
Oh yeah, dude, they fucked.
Yeah.
It's not just the killing. I mean, because
like how they did it. Yeah,
exactly. And the torture and the rape.
And like, I don't know how she only got 10 years. Cause I think what happened is like they played the media. Carla Homolka played like the victim of abuse.
Yes.
Kind of
yeah. She was manipulated.
And the media really
Paul.
picked it up.
Yep.
And I think it didn't help that she was somewhat attractive.
Yeah.
Because I think that actually
I believe
played
she's
part.
married now. She fucked off and she's married.
So I think that played. But then when they saw the videotapes, they realized, oh shit, she was way behind this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of, like, I was talking to one of my police friends, and he told me what Paul Bernardo should have done, because they didn't have anything really at the time on him, is he should have killed Carla Homolka and said it was just wife, like he got in a fight and he killed him, because he would have maybe got 10 or 15 years in prison.
Right.
But maybe they don't know that stuff exists. There's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. But I remember that when he said that, I was like, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but yeah.
So a friend of mine, he's a psychologist.
Yeah.
So my question immediately is, you know, you meet someone, do you automatically assess them, right? So for you, you're looking at body language. I presume you're looking at the way somebody carries themselves, the way they speak, perhaps any idiosyncrasies that they may have.
Basically what I'm looking for, like, my brain doesn't turn off, but I'm looking for, like, I'm essentially diagnosing if you're a psychopath or not pretty fast. Because a psychopath, like I said, is like a child, and you don't really want to deal with them. So there's easy ways to kind of control them. And
tell me.
So basically, a psychopath, they're always going to burn their own bridge. So the number one rule is you don't give them anything to grab onto. So what I mean is, if you think something's off with the person, trust your instincts. Like, always trust your instincts. You just kind of know something's weird about the person.
Sure.
You might not have proof yet, but just trust your instincts and don't give them answers to grab onto. So what I mean by that is get kind of yes/no answers. You know what I mean? Like, don't let them talk and don't talk, because they're going to always burn their own bridge at the end of the day.
Okay.
So you just got to be patient. It's a kind of a long-term game. Just be patient with them. The other thing is you don't want to you don't ever want to get angry, because the narcissists, Machiavellians, psychopaths, they're all very good at this. So what happens is they provoke you, they make you do everything, and then you're the one that gets mad, freaks out, and then you're the bad one.
Isn't that gaslighting to a certain degree, though?
So gaslighting, for those of you who don't know, it's basically so if I put this cup right here, and then I walk away, and then you ask me, was the cup there the whole time? I say no. So you now question your brain. So they're masters of gaslighting. Gaslighting is very used in a lot of abusive relationships and stuff. But what they want is they want you to have a reaction, so don't react. So you never, you almost talk low with them. So you almost don't show emotion when you're talking with them, so there's nothing to grab onto.
But wouldn't that escalate his angst?
Not really. Like, I find, because if it does, that's actually your advantage, because you see them blow up and freak out, and then they get in trouble or whatever the situation is. So the thing is, with them, you want to be calm, cool, less is more kind of thing. So like me and you were having a conversation talking about how good life is and whatever. Don't do that with a psychopath, just because they're going to grab onto anything they can find to try to kind of take you to, like, they don't care about you. You don't exist. You're a toy to them, if that makes any sense. It's almost like a possession, So the thing is, less is more with a psychopath. And the thing is, you can tell they're off because their eyes are weird. So a lot of times the psychopaths do this. So you'll notice, like, in pictures, it's like this, like that. You see how my eyes are wide?
That's why I'm wearing glasses.
Yeah, so like look at smart. But like look at a lot of the psychopaths, you'll see in a lot of the pictures, their eyes are big because they don't know what to do in shots and stuff. So it's almost like they just drop their face for a second, drop their mask.
Oh shit, that's interesting.
It's creepy. Like, I can show you some pictures after, but if you look at them, their eyes are always like this. And so they don't have social cues. So why they're considered good at manipulation stuff is because they had to learn everything. So where you know, if you're like, you know, say you're doing a sport, you play the sport from a young age and you get really great at it. You don't just get great at it, but because they don't have the normal social cues, they learned all that. So they're better at it. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's all learned because everything to them is learned. Nothing's natural.
So do they actually have an authentic personality, or is that fabricated too?
You could argue the personality, they're shapeshifters. So their personality is whatever you want their personality to be at the time for whatever they want. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it.
So
but to what end? Why would somebody be like that?
Because they want to be in. They think they're God. Essentially, think of a psychopath as them thinking they're God.
Huh.
They literally think they're God. They think they're the greatest thing ever.
Very close to my personality. It's making me edgy.
Yeah, I know. I got to run away after this. But you see what I'm saying, though. But you're not a psychopath because I can tell. I wouldn't be here right now if you were. So, no, you don't have the psychopathic traits.
Really?
No.
So
no, but you have an ambition. So I can always tell you're an ambitious person. You go for what you want. You believe in following your dreams, never giving up. Like that's your attitude. I think that's who you are as a person.
Yes.
That's not a psychopath.
No. But for people in my circle, I am intensely loyal, and I will protect them, and I will do whatever I can to make them happy.
A psychopath would never do that.
Oh,
Why would they protect them?
But if you fuck with anybody or fuck with me, I am extremely vengeful.
Yeah, but that's not a psychopath either.
Oh, really?
Like a psychopath is just they don't care about them. They can't even care. They care about themselves. Everything's a pawn. So if they have a kid, they don't love their kid. They love the fact that people are giving them attention because they like their kid. Does that kind of make sense?
That's disturbing.
It is disturbing, and it's a much higher population than people think. 7% is a big number.
Sure, it is, man.
Like it's not just psychopaths; it's everyone in that field. But still, you're dealing with that, especially with your business and dealing with all these people.
Yeah.
You're probably dealing with them much more than you think you are.
Yeah.
And you always get everything in email.
Really?
And the reason for that is if you don't trust someone, they're gonna because they're gonna try to screw you over one day. You just want your proof. So if it ever goes to anything, but the good thing, like I said, is it's the long game. Just be patient. They'll always burn their bridge and screw themselves.
Yeah. The only fear for that is that, like, I am a big believer in trusting my instincts. Yeah. I'm also a big believer in reading people's energy.
Yeah.
Right. You never, and I've also been training in martial arts for 40 years.
Yeah.
You never want to give the opportunity to someone to be aggressive or violent.
1,000%.
So,
but they're basically trying to make you look bad to make them look good, if that makes any sense. So basically, what I'm trying, because I was trying to give an example in like a business sense, just because. And so what I mean by that is they want to essentially get you fired or demoted or look bad, even though you didn't do anything. So they kind of get under your skin, and then what happens when
that's petty as shit.
But that's what they are. That's all they are, right? That's all they are. And so what I'm basically saying is you just always have to be calm, cool, and never react. Even if they say this is the most absurd thing, if you think something's off with them, never react and don't engage.
So I dealt with someone some time ago who was a pathological liar.
Yeah.
So how does that fit into?
So most psychopaths will. So the reason why everyone says, "Oh yeah," some psychopaths, a lot of the, you could argue some of the higher up media and stuff are psychopaths. The reason for that is they're willing to do anything people like me and you aren't willing to do.
Oh, sure.
So they're willing to screw people over, to step over. They're willing to do anything to get there. They're willing to lie. They're willing to do anything to get to that position.
So they lack.
They have no morals.
Right.
That's the word.
That's a cool shirt, by the way. I just got it.
I got to represent the Halloween season.
The best season, dude.
My favorite season is Halloween. My favorite season as well.
Oh, I fucking love it. And we're going to get into this, trust me, dude. But I love, like, authentic or real or not. There's just the whole creative aspect of Halloween and the whole mystique about it. I fucking love it, man.
Yeah.
A pathological liar, then.
Yes.
What would cause them to act in such a way? And let me preface that. So talking about Machiavellian tendencies, talking about pathological liars, talking about psychopaths, sociopaths, you lack honor to me. Like that.
There is no honor. There's no honor among thieves, as they all say.
That's fair. That's fair.
So basically, the thing is, that's the other advantage of us. It's not an advantage, but because they have many disadvantages. But the advantage of psychopath is we're playing on this moral spectrum where we're not willing to do, like to be nice and be courteous. They're not. They're on a higher pedestal than us.
Right.
So it'd almost be like,
So we're like peasants to them.
Yeah, essentially, because they're willing to do stuff we're not. And that's their advantage, but it's also their disadvantage.
Sure, there is an advantage to that because it seems to me that they lack guilt or remorse.
They do. And the only guilt and remorse they have is towards themselves.
Right.
So like your guilt and remorse, does that kind of make sense? Just think of them as only thing that matters is them.
Right.
Nothing else matters. So
and that trait transcends to psychopaths, sociopaths, people of that ilk.
And narcissism, yes, but it depends how much of the degree
Sure,
it is.
sure.
You know, because a lot of narcissists you can live with and be fine with. They might have certain small traits of it. It really depends on the degree of it.
And serial killers, you don't feel fits into that sort of box because they're just insane.
A lot of them, yes. Not all serial killers are psychopaths. So, like a lot of times with the media and stuff, they all say, "Oh yeah, every psychopath is a serial." That's not true. Like I don't believe Dahmer was a psychopath, to be honest. I don't think like Ed Gein, even though he's technically not a serial killer, he was definitely not a psychopath.
Charles Manson
would have been a psychopath.
Right.
Yeah. So it knows how manipulative he was.
Yes.
He was.
I believe actually he's coming up on that monster series on Netflix. He's
okay. Yes. I wonder.
The next one is Lizzie Borden.
Yeah.
And then there's a few other names I don't recognize. Yeah. And I believe Charles Manson is one of them.
Yeah. So with him, he's definitely like a textbook psychopath. Like he's pretty, if you look at all the characteristics of a psychopath, he would follow under that.
Master manipulator.
Yeah. And the thing with Manson is, you remember, he wanted to be a famous musician. He wanted to be famous at any cost.
Yes.
And what ended up happening is, I guess he did get his fame by doing that, but like he was trying to become a famous musician. I remember, I think he at one point was at Neil Young's mansion. He was one point with the Beach Boys, and they were trying to push him, and the studios just didn't like him.
Right.
You know, and he wasn't that bad of a singer, that being said. If you actually hear his records, it's not awful. Like, I don't like his music, but it's not awful. And so I think he wanted to do anything for fame, and it's almost like this druggy cult, you know, kind of feeling. And most cult leaders like Jonestown, or I think it was Applewood or Applegate, I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah.
They're all psychopaths, the ones in charge, right? So it's, so those are kind of a good definition of psychopaths. All of them have the same characteristics.
Yeah. I mean, Charles Manson became infamous.
Yeah, I did.
But to the same degree, I still believe he's locked up too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he is. I think he passed away, but
no way.
I think Charles Manson passed away in the past 5-10 years.
Oh, shit.
I'm pretty confident he did. Not that I care, but a good example I was actually thinking about this is Luca Magnotta. He was that one in, there was one in, it was in Canada.
He's dead?
He's dead. So there's one in Canada, and basically what happened is he did some video where he like lured someone and killed them, and he got caught. So the thing with him, and he actually got caught looking at his own like media posts. And
oh my God.
I'm not even kidding. That's how they grabbed him. But what was crazy about him and why I don't like this stuff is his dream in life was to be famous. So he literally tried everything. He tried like gay pornography. He tried everything to get famous. Nothing was working.
Yeah.
So he ended up torturing just a nice engineer kid for no reason and killing him and putting him on the video. And then what happens when he gets caught and everything, he gets all the publicity again. So he's so happy because now he's world famous. And I'm like, that's not fair. Like, you know, this guy is the piece of crap.
Yes.
He should not get the attention. And he was a textbook narcissist personality disorder, right?
I have heard that some people, when they're talking about psychopaths, they refuse to mention the name because I believe that they believe that that's what they want. They want to be talked about.
But that's what they want. Look at like people like BTK and everything. They're also like happy, you know, once they get, obviously they don't want to get caught, but they're still kind of like, wow, you know, everyone knows who I am. They enjoy
that's
that.
Fucked up.
You know, they like, and that's why like I wish there was a way. I don't know how the way is. Like when something happens, you talk about the victims. The victims are more important.
Absolutely.
You know, they were just,
and there's no justice for the victims.
There's no such thing as justice. Think about this: if you kill someone you love, kills someone you love, they pass away, they get life in prison. That's not the same level as losing someone.
Buddy,
it's not even
fucking
close.
agree with you.
There's no justice.
No, man. I 100% agree with you. I think putting people in prison is a fucking waste of taxpayer money. I think, obviously, depending on the crime.
It depends on the crime,
But to me, if you rape someone, you kill someone, you should just be put to death.
Yeah, and so and that's not even justice either, because that person's value is not the same as that person who didn't do anything.
I agree.
So you can never get justice with these violent crimes, ever. So like it's like, what do you do? Because I hate when you see the American shows and they're like, oh yeah, you know, the person, they got justice because we caught, you know, the serial killer who killed 10 people. I'm like, these people are all dead, and they had all these like they were all just great, for all we know, great people who
100
just were at the
and
wrong
all the
spot.
people that they affected.
Yeah, whole family, everything, and then you know, justice has been served. It has not been served. You know?
I agree.
Yeah, and you could argue though, that being said, solitary confinement is worse than death. So think,
but the taxpayers have to pay for that person.
That's the problem. But that being said, is if we're doing the death penalty, it's like a few $1 million because it keeps going to court.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
So people don't realize it's actually costs like a few $1 million every time in the States to put someone to death. So it's more expensive. And then for Canada, it's around, I believe, $70,000 a year for a medium security one inmate. which is kind of funny because, you know, like people in Canada are struggling right now to live.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we're paying $70,000 a person in the prison to help them. But, or not help them, but put them in prison. But basically, you think of solitary confinement, it's like the size of a parking space. One parking space, and you're in there 23 hours a day.
Fuck.
You would go crazy.
Sure. Yeah, I mean.
But, like, it is torture. So but it's a psychological torture. But, like, I agree in the sense of, like, I support the death penalty.
Me too.
But the only thing I don't support is that a lot of people get wrongfully convicted. And you can't reverse that. But that being said, is if someone's wrongfully convicted in prison right now, you hear these stories where they're in like the system's not designed to reverse itself. So what happens? It takes 15 years to get them out, even if the evidence is there.
Okay.
And that's not fair. Like, you know, but I don't know what the solution is, right?
Yes. People have proposed that response to me, and because I'm a huge advocate for the death penalty.
Yeah. But if the case is concrete, that's
100%.
Yeah.
But and then the general response or the knee-jerk response is, well, there's a lot of people that have been wrongly convicted. Sure, but out of those people that have been wrongfully convicted, for them to be convicted in the first place, they're probably not the best kind of citizen.
So the thing. Yeah, you could argue that, but in the past, a lot of times there was racism and stuff. Like, I'm talking about the past.
Okay,
I don't really follow. Like, I haven't really heard any recent wrongfully convicted cases, or none that stood out. But in the past,
I have heard that. You're right.
And Saskatoon was really known for railroading people, like, you know, David Milgaard and stuff, where he was just some kid, and the serial killer was actually like it. Oh my god, that case pissed me off because he was I believe he was living like at the house above, and the person below was an actual known rapist. Right. And they didn't interview him. They just took the Indian because he was Native American. They just took him and basically sent him to 30 years in prison for a murder that he never did. Even though the person was living right below, in the house below, and he had a criminal record. Because most people don't.
How long ago was that though?
30. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the past.
Well, 30 years is not that long
30,
ago.
40 years, I don't. It was one out because I was, maybe 30 years ago.
Okay, that's not that long, dude. It's 2025.
That's true. But like Saskatoon and those areas were known for that back in the day, right?
Okay, so I do think that the people that have wrongfully been convicted are outliers. It has to be a small percentage of the people. So to me, to rid the board of a few evil motherfuckers, to me is worth it. Yeah. In my opinion. I know a lot of people don't.
Because a lot of people say the opposite, where they say, like, you know, if one person goes, they'd rather have 10 people go that are guilty to get the one innocent person not to be, you know what I mean? Like the opposite thing. It's there's no right answer to this, as we both know. It's just, the system's hard because, you know, the good news, it's not good news, but most of the time with the violent offenders, they don't just go kill someone. It's like you were saying, it's a buildup.
Sure.
So there would be pieces of shit before they actually killed someone. And there's probably stuff in their history because most people, like, you know, even with like abusive relationship stuff, you see the signs, you see the red flags. It's your choice if you want to listen to them or not. So my lawyer, because I have a lawyer on retainer just to protect me with everything. And she basically tells me, James, people show you their colors, they show you who they are, but it's your choice if you want to believe it or not. So all the red flags a lot of times are there because someone's not just going to hide the whole time.
Sure.
It's just your choice if you want to pick it or if you don't want to pick it.
So 2 questions then. A, do you think people somehow can't recognize the signs? I do agree that I have seen examples of people who have seen the red flags and choose to ignore them or believe that, I can fix them. I can, you know.
So what I think is, firstly, so I don't get owned online, I'm not blaming the victim at all.
No,
I'm not blaming the victim.
But there is an onus of responsibility.
There can be. So what I mean by that is, so a psychopath will use a concept called love bombing. And what that basically is they're going to tell you and do everything you want to be the perfect person ever. So if you ever go into a relationship right away and you kind of go, this is too perfect to be true, there's a high chance that this is not real. Because it's love bombing, right? Because they're willing to do it.
It's me and I am.
So if you were like interested in doctors, I would all of a sudden say we were like say your partner or whatever was doing it to you, they would pretend to be a doctor, even though they're not a doctor. You see what I'm saying? They're doing every possible thing possible.
The one thing I learned early on in life is that, and the way I conduct myself is I never lied. I never pretended to be something that I'm not. When I was broke, I knew I was broke and I didn't pretend to be anything other because.
But that's you. Most people aren't like that, right?
But I do believe you're eventually going to get found out.
You are 100%. You always get caught. So that's what I believe. I believe you always got caught. And the thing is with these relationships, it also depends what you want. So if you're looking for just like, so if you're like, I'm looking for like an actual relationship.
Yes.
Don't put out, like, don't do anything for like 5 or 6 dates because you'll know if the person's love bombing or just trying to get, you know, that and then leaving, or do they want to be with you? Do you see what I'm saying? There's all these techniques that you can do, or not techniques, ways to safeguard yourself so you don't get destroyed, you know? It's just, it depends what people want. It seems like with the modern culture, even with dating, because, you know, back in our day, you know, you meet someone at school, you meet someone there. Nowadays, there's a million, like, there's all these websites and stuff that I hear from friends where they go, the younger generation, instead of putting work into a relationship, they'd rather just go on their phone and change to the next person.
Yeah, and I think that also takes away from the actual work required to have an honest relationship.
1,000%, because you're not putting every relationship takes effort and work. You both have to work at it. You can't just be one person working at it, or it's never going to last.
Yep. I think that mindset translates to any kind of relationship.
Yeah, or business. Anything in life. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
I think relationships have become too easy, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, click. No, click.
Oh, you know, we'd have like one thing that's a little off. Okay, I'm gone. You know, like instead of working at it.
She doesn't like mushrooms. Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, or pineapple on pizza.
Yeah. Pineapple on pizza is good.
I do not like pineapple on pizza.
I think that's
I'm swiping which way is the bad one, right or left or whatever. Yeah.
So going back to an earlier statement, when you meet someone, do you find yourself analyzing them?
I don't want to, but I do.
Of course.
That's kind of the best way to describe it. So I actually, like, if you're ever with me in public, I'm an introvert. I'm very shy.
Me too.
I don't like really talking to people and stuff. I have my like main circle of friends, and that's about it.
Me too.
And like when I know something, if something's off about them, I don't waste my time no more. Back in the day, I would be like, when I was younger, I think I had to learn this. It's not that I didn't trust my instincts, but I was like, you know what? Maybe my profiling's wrong. I'm gonna give them a second chance. And then you always get burned.
Right.
And then so now when I see it right away, there's so many times where my friends bring me another friend or someone like that, and I go, I don't like them. I don't want to do it with my friends. Like, you're not giving them a chance. And then 3 months later, they're messaging me and be like, you were right about the person.
Right.
So it's happened all the time now.
Well, you've also been trained to see more than what the ordinary person can see.
And that's why I don't waste my time with people now.
Right.
So when I see, like, if I look at you and I go, okay, I can tell this person's not going to be someone, you know, that is worth my time.
Right.
And when I say worth my time, just not a nice person, because I don't really have much, like, I just like nice people, genuine nice people. That's all I care about.
Sure.
I don't care, like, what you are as a person. As long as you're nice, you have a good heart. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, I agree. And that you like animals.
Yeah. And animals are important. Well. If you don't like animals, you're totally a psychopath. But yeah.
Yes. So it's funny because I definitely want to talk about your wolf, but going back to the psychopathic analysis, do any of them have pets? Do any of them have?
They would torture pets. Like, no.
Oh, fuck,
they would not have pets. So it is kind of common, but it's not common as well. They say, like, you know, for a serial killer, psychopath, you always heard like, oh yeah, they abuse animals. Not all of them do, but like it is one of the traits that can happen.
That's horrible.
And that's awful. Like, it's so awful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing that gets me quick to anger is when I see someone abusing an animal.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, the loyalty of an animal, it's like unmatchable. Like, humans aren't as loyal.
Sure, they're just fucking pure creatures.
Yeah. They just want love, you know? Like,
dude. I fucking love animals. You have a fucking wolf.
I have a pet wolf from Romania.
Oh, dude, that is so awesome.
She's not really a pet. She's more like a companion, because they're not like...
I don't even like calling them pets, right? Like, yes, I like companions.
But like, she's like the love of my life. So like, we travel the world together.
Yes.
So a wolf is like, you got to think of it. It's not like, it is a dog, but it's not like a dog. It's almost like it is literally an evolution of a dog.
Right.
So everything she does is like 30% better than any dog, or 40% better than any dog. Her speed is unmatchable. Her bite force is insane. Her teeth, when you open her mouth, are so big.
Nice.
You know, and so, but she's not, you can't train her to like sit and stuff. So she understands that she's not going to do it. She's a wolf, right? Like, that's what I remember. Right. And I was lucky that I got one. That's the reason why I got it from Romania is 4 generations of the family. Nice. So they're used to humans and stuff.
Right.
And she's a Romanian wolf, so they're not as big as a North American wolf, but they're still like pretty. Like, I showed you a picture or video, and she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
And she's never made one sound for me. She hasn't howled, made one sound.
Oh, I love the howling though, dude.
Yeah, she doesn't howl. She hasn't made a sound. If we had her in this room right now, you wouldn't even know she was here, because she'd just be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, she's so stealthy. As she moves, it's so quiet.
Husky poos, and they're now in the howling aspect. Yeah. I fucking love it.
Yeah, maybe we'll bring Tria closer to try to get her to howl.
Yes. You know? But you would say her name's Tria?
Yeah.
Nice. She is significantly bigger than normal dogs?
She's not like, she's probably looks like the size of maybe a German Shepherd.
Okay.
She's very lean.
Nice.
Very agile. So a thing with the wolves is they're more like this versus dogs are more like this.
Oh.
So she's more like this sort of agility-wise. She's so smooth. Like, she can jump 10 feet, right? So they all say for her specifically, you need a 10-foot fence if you don't want her to escape.
Oh, wow.
Because they can get out so easily. Like, they're so agile. I've never seen a dog so agile. Like, when I bring her to a dog park sometimes to play with other dogs, and she's like so much faster than everyone. Everyone's just freaking out when they see her going, holy, you know?
Do people get nervous with her being?
No, people have been really respectful. But like I was in Toronto, I brought her to like the seance house, and when I was bringing her home, I had to walk 5 minutes to my car because where my location. She was freaking out every second because of the sounds, so I had to actually pick her up.
Yeah,
and all these people are coming up to me going, "Oh my god, is that a wolf? Is that?" And they're just freaking out. And I'm like, "Yeah, she is." But it was just so it was kind of cool to see people's reaction because I don't mostly bring her out to like downtown Toronto, but just people coming up to us going, "Oh my god, that's a wolf! Oh my god, that's," because you saw pictures, like it's insane. Like her, you can see the feralness.
Outside of any of that, she's beautiful.
She's so sweet though, personality wise. Because why I got her is because the person who has her parents said like she's unique. She's the sweetest dog he's ever met, and I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then when I got here, she's like, we were bonded right away. No problems. I don't have one issue with her. And she's a wolf. Like, she doesn't destroy anything.
Really?
Yeah, but her, like, I feed her raw, obviously, because she eats, but like the bite force, like I can give her like a frozen bone thing and she just bites right through it like it's nothing.
Nice.
So her strength is insane.
Nice. Okay, jumping back to the serial killers.
Yeah.
So again, when you meet somebody and you feel that something is off, do you look for, like, do you just rely on, this guy's fucked up, I'm just going to go with that? Or do you look for examples to justify your rationale?
So basically, yeah. So a lot of times you're trying to catch them in a lie.
Okay.
So when you're trying to catch someone in a lie, it depends on who you're dealing with, but basically in a profile sense, if depending on what you're dealing, it's different ways how you approach them. Sometimes you have to be kind of buddy with them.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to be the authority figure going down on them. It depends on what the person is and how they act, and then you want to catch them in a lie and kind of get them to open up, if that makes any sense.
Sure. But that does take some time.
It takes time and it takes a lot of practice. Like it does take time, and it depends what you're doing it for.
Okay.
So if like my friend was like, if this is a simple example, say my friend was like, oh, I can't tell if my boyfriend's cheating on me or something, and she wants to play the game with me. The rule I have with my friends, if you're with someone, I'm not going to help you.
Really?
But if you're not with someone and you're thinking about it, I'll help you. Because I don't want to influence your relationship.
Sure.
I don't want to be that person.
But what if you see someone going down a dark path?
Yeah, so I had one example with one of my friends. Like I've known her for like 8 years, and basically she said, oh, I'm seeing this guy, and I saw a picture of him, and I basically said, okay, this guy's 100% a cheater, like he's a piece of crap kind of thing. And she's like, and then she's like fought me on it. Right. And then what happens, we find out like a month later, she's like, oh, he was still with his ex. And I'm like, I told you. And she's like, oh, but the thing was, he was telling me he was going to leave the ex, and so I'm going to give him a chance. I'm like, that's not the smart move. He's going to stay with the ex. And she's like, yeah, whatever. And then 6 months later, she messaged me and goes, Jaymes, you were right about everything. So, but you see how the signs were all there. It's just you didn't want to listen to them,
Yeah, I can see why some people.
But if he cheats on he cheats on his partner to go to you, he's going to do it again, or she's going to do it again. The cycle doesn't change.
But you assessed all that from a photo?
From a photo, yeah. A lot of times you can tell from photos. It's pretty easy to tell. As long as the photo looks normal. It can't be like candid shot at like a business meeting. Like it's got to, or sorry, not like a headshot. It's got to be like a normal setting kind of photo.
Really? That is outstanding.
Yeah, so that's kind of what like is.
But couldn't that shot perhaps be posed, meaning orchestrated?
It can be, but a lot of times if they're not paying attention and just taking a picture of the group or whatever, that's what I'm looking for. And I always ask for like 2 or 3 pictures. Okay. Because one time, like there could be a chance that one photo, like you said, is orchestrated, but most of the time I find with photos, handwriting, it's easier than like seeing them in person.
Handwriting too.
Handwriting is pretty easy because you can tell when someone's lying because it's the state of the mind you're in at the time. Right. So people think, oh yeah, I'm going to switch my writing, I'm going to switch hands. They don't know what we're looking for. So handwriting analysis, like I got trained by, so what happened is it wasn't accredited in Canada, but there was some person who like did the like, I forget her name right now, but she did like the Zodiac and all these big things. So she had a master's course. I forget it was in New Zealand or something, but I took the course just for fun. Like I didn't get accredited. I didn't care. I just wanted to kind of learn how it was done. And so then I started applying that stuff, and it does work much more than you think it does. So think of like, so slant is, say I write it like my words. If you're more this way, you're more emotional. If you pull back, you're less emotional. Yeah. So there's times where they're writing all straight, and then all of a sudden something's pulled that way. So that tells you that there's a heavy emotion on that. You see what I'm saying? Like, or less emotion. So that's the kind of stuff. And then you're also looking for something called the maniac D. So if they're writing their names, and when they write a D, so think at the end of their word, they curve it far to the right. So say you take that T right there from your great and say it's curved this way when they write. Yeah. That's called the maniac D. So you avoid those people. Those are like the psychopaths or whatever.
Get me a piece of paper.
Yeah, you just write. Yeah.
I want to do my signature. So does it have to be a sentence or just
write a sentence? Be like, just tell me your name or something. Like just say my name is, or anything. I just want to see if there's any.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, the handwriting stuff. Like,
yeah, I thought that I never believed that you could, because we're so intricate and when there's so many layers and nuances to a human that I didn't know that.
I think personally, because the hardest people for me to read are kids. And I think the reason is they're not ingrained in society. Once you get ingrained into society, you start doing normal patterns. And that's when you notice stuff. It's almost like you're put in a box. Oh. That's kind of why I think I have a career or whatever.
Okay, let me ask you your opinion, then I'm going to say how I believe it. Do you think people are capable of change?
I don't, personally. From my experience, I don't think people change. I think they want to change. I think that they're forced to change in certain situations because they have no choice. But I don't think people really change, unfortunately.
I'd like to believe.
I want to believe it, yeah.
Yes, I'd like to believe that with the proper motivation, we can achieve anything.
Yeah.
So, but I think there are certain points. Actually, like I've never dealt with anyone who's a psychopath or like
you
to
probably
that
have,
level.
but not realize it. No, seriously though, you probably have. You would have. Psychopaths aren't as scary as people like do that. I guarantee you have. There's no way in your line of work in your business, there's no way you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But you might have just handled that. They might have been intimidated by you. Psychopaths and narcissists are cowards. When you challenge them, they run away.
Mm. So what do you eat?
So draw a tree and sign your name.
Draw a tree?
Draw a tree and sign your name.
Well, I'm an artist, right? So
perfect. I'm ready for this art, eh?
Okay. This is going to take some time, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I've signed it.
My signature?
Yeah, so basically why you get people to draw trees sometimes is because a tree can kind of indicate a lot about someone's life. So the first thing is I can tell because you see how everything, do you find like a lot of times you have so many things in your brain going on like nonstop, boom, 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 and it never ends.
Yep.
Do you have trouble sleeping?
No.
So you're a good sleeper?
Yes.
Were you always a good sleeper?
Yes.
Okay, so that's interesting because like what I'm saying is from this indicator is it goes that your brain's going in, because just look at a house, you see how it's not scattered, but you see how that's what that basically says, like, you know, boom, 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 your brain's just going.
It is that, you are right though.
Yeah.
But I also take, like I have a nice little cocktail before I go to bed.
So you have a ritual kind of that puts you to sleep, but if you didn't do that, you probably would have trouble sleeping, I think.
And I also train a lot, so I am tired.
So you're tired. The other thing is, so you see how because most people when you ask to do a tree, they don't do the ground. Notice how you did the ground?
Yeah.
So that basically sometimes indicates that like you're very, like it's obvious, but very well grounded. You know, you care about the people around you. You take time for yourself. Like it's about like, think of it as like four walls in a house. You have to have your structure or you go insane. You know, you need to be really structure oriented. Everything is almost dotted to the T.
Yeah,
like
you're
every
right.
single thing you do is like from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I have to do this. From 2 to 3.
You're 100%
everything's planned
right.
out to the max, I think. Because I also think because your brain's going so insane that you get bored easily. So you have to just kind of keep making your brain go. I don't know if there's definitely a bout of depression. I think in order to prevent that, that's why exercise is very important for you.
Okay. No, I've never had any kind of depression.
But maybe it's because you're doing the exercise. No, I'm just saying because your brain's going. And so a lot of times with depression, they say it's because your brain thinks so much, that's what makes the depression.
Oh, interesting.
So I think maybe because you're keeping yourself so busy, that's maybe why you don't have it.
Perhaps, yeah.
But if you stop down and you stop doing everything, I think you would go insane personally.
No, that's entirely possible.
And then, so is this just, can you, like, so is that your last name as well?
Yes, B. Calero is what I did.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So the thing is, so how they say with like the signature, notice they're touching.
Yes.
That tells me family means everything to you. Like, you know, you're very family oriented. It means everything. Because if you didn't put the last name, that tells me your family wasn't important to you. You see what I'm saying? So that's what, like, it's pretty basic as you can see. Also, the slant's pretty good, but it is to the right. So you do think with your emotion a lot of times.
Yes, you're 100% right.
Yeah, you don't have the maniac D, so I know you're not a psychopath. But notice how, like, even your signature is very emotional. You see what I mean? Like, it's very big.
Yes.
So you would, you know, you'd probably have, like, you know, the fastest car or nice car. You'd probably have the biggest house. You know, you don't have trouble making friends, but you're very particular in who you let in your circle.
Dude, that is 100% all true.
Yeah, and that's because, like, look at how big the signature is. Like when you walk into a room, everyone looks at you, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, you know, the nice watches, the cars, things like that. But you're also like, I don't think you get as much credit for your like emotional side, if that makes any sense. Like people see you as a larger life kind of person, but I don't think they realize you have all these kind of like artsy stuff like we were discussing.
Yeah, I mean, but do you not find that people they see in you what they want to see?
1,000%.
Sure.
Yeah, so they would see you as more like, you know, a gym person.
Yeah.
When they don't realize like you have a brain and there's all these other sides to you that they don't realize.
Yeah.
And you can see from the detail of your drawing, right? Like it's pretty elaborate kind of a drawing. What is this? Is that?
The sun in the back.
That's the sun. So yeah, okay. So what made you decide to draw the sun?
I just wanted to play. I mean, obviously with limited time, but I just like the way sometimes when the sun is behind an object and the bokeh or the in a movie, the lens flares, and I just for me, I was going to start drawing water in the background, being by the water because I live by the water. Is just very tranquil. Like there's a sense
so it's
of
that kind of attention that, again, it's the attention to detail. Like the fact you drew all this stuff and you did that, you have I think in order for you to be where you are right now, you have to have very good attention to detail because there's so many things. There's a billion things going on in your head.
I have good people around that because I tend to be very like a bull in a china shop. So I have a lot of people that I'm blessed to have around me.
But you need that though.
Yes. Yeah. Earlier before we started this, you were mentioning about visualization. Yeah. And
mental imagery. And,
So I'm a big believer in that.
So you do that.
Oh, 100, buddy. And so for me, my mindset is always in the future. I am living, my mind is always where it's going to be. And then I force reality to catch into it. And you stated, and it was brilliantly said that athletes visually practice. For me in jiu-jitsu, that's what we do. We practice the move in our minds.
A million times.
And I believe there are studies to show that.
There are.
Right. It's not as good as doing it live, but it does help you a great deal.
And even if it increases let's be very low barred and say it only increased your shot percentage, let's say for basketball by 1%.
Yes.
That's the difference between winning and losing.
Yes.
Or in a fight, that's the difference between winning a fight and not.
100%.
Because a lot of time it's not the skill. Like it's obviously the endurance and everything you have, but it's the brain. Right? Like my favorite fighter is obviously the Canadian, GSP, and he was a master brain. His brain,
brilliant guy, very honorable. Love that guy.
Yeah, and when you think of his fights, they're all planned out. He executed the plan. Same for if you look at the dynasty with the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick's brain. The plans this guy came with the defense, and you're kind of thinking, how does he do that? And then they execute it. So they're practicing even the concept of it 5 billion times before they actually do it.
So outside of an athletic response to visualization, how can one person benefit from in just a day-to-day living?
So this is very simple, but they actually show, and they've been done a million studies, if you think positively, if you think of the outcome, you're more likely to achieve it. So if I went right now in my head and said, okay, today's going to be a fun day, today's going to be a good day, I'm going to make it a good day because I was thinking it in my head.
Yes.
Versus if I was like, okay, today's going to be a crappy day, it's going to be a crappy day because you got to create your own brain sometimes. Or even if you don't, you got to force it.
Oh, buddy, yes,
until it actually
catches
up to you, and then it's okay.
Yes. 100%. I agree with you. Everything you said.
It sounds really stupid. It really does sound stupid, but it actually does work.
But even outside of it working or not, would you rather sit at home? So, for example, in the morning, which you correctly said, I have my routines. So I
call it rituals, but it's the same thing.
Yeah. I have an ice bath. Yeah. And in that ice bath, I meditate and I give gratitude. I have a saying that I thank you for everything I have and everything I'm about to receive. Yeah. I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise. Thank you for my loved ones. Thank you for my blessings. Thank you for removing all obstacles from my way. Yeah. And that just puts me in a better mood.
It grounds yourself.
Sure. So if you have the option in the morning or at any time to put yourself in a shitty mood or put yourself in a bad mood, why would you choose the latter?
No, another thing is, this is not the same thing as, the brain needs stimulation. So even they've done a lot of studies, and I'm not saying don't go on your antidepressants because some people need it, but they've shown studies where the placebo really does work. So what I mean by that is they said if you get your heart rate up, do exercise 3 times a week, it's almost the same as taking a pill.
Yep.
They've done a bunch of studies on that. And so force your brain, because I even found when I'm a weird person. If I'm outside more, if I'm walking more, I notice my brain is normal.
I agree too.
Not normal, but not as crazy.
Yeah, I find being out. That's why in the summer a lot of people suffer from SADs, right? And so in the winter, I have a tanning bed at my house where you just
gotta force yourself.
You fucking need that sunlight, brother.
You do. Yeah, the vitamin D's, people don't realize how big of a difference. And I'm not talking about the pill vitamin D. I'm talking about the sun. You only need 5 or 6 minutes a day. But in the wintertime, no one wants to go outside in the winter. But we have dogs, so it's perfect for us because it forces us to do it.
Yep.
But it's and a dog, and you agree, animals are life changing. So just even say you're someone that doesn't want to go outside and walk because you have issues, get a dog. Yes. Because all of a sudden they're taking you outside every day and you're getting your sunlight, you're happy.
Yes.
And a dog makes you happy without doing anything.
Yes.
And so there's all these tricks of the mind that no one talks about, because I find with doctors, they just want to give you a pill. And sometimes you need the pill. I'm not arguing that, but I'm saying there are natural ways.
And I do think, and I don't give a fuck if this gets me in trouble, I do think we're over prescribing medications of that nature.
Because and the other thing is even like, I'm not arguing again that people don't need drugs. That's not my argument. My argument is, but there's alternatives that people don't follow, because it's almost like, you know, we both know, because I'm pretty heavy on the fitness because of my schedule.
Yeah.
And I know if I like get out of shape and stuff, I can barely do my shows and I feel like crap always. But I know how, like, you know, I'm doing my exercise 6 times a week, an hour a day or whatever. But I know how hard it can be.
Yes.
And even though I don't mind it, but I mean, like, other people just want they want to go on the Ozempic thing, get sick and die from like a heart attack in 10 years. Or blind. Yes. And it's like, you rather do that than actually just do exercise a day and eat clean. Like, how hard is that?
That's what trips me out.
I don't understand it.
Buddy, I don't get it
you're
either.
like me that way.
Yeah. Why would you, and even like in the beginning, Ozempic or Mounjaro or
and some people need it. I'm not arguing. If you have diabetes or something, you need it.
Yes,
but I'm talking about for weight loss.
I hear you. Yeah. And what I don't understand is, even though you know now, people know
it's so bad for you,
that there is a lot of contraindications, muscle wasting, the threat of blindness. I believe the company that makes Ozempic is being sued for $2 billion because of the threat of blindness.
Wow.
People still take it, dude. I don't understand.
And it's not, like, we both know if you want to lose weight, it's not hard.
No.
Like, what I mean by that is, like, you know, you do your exercise, let's say 5 times a week, but it's about what you eat. And it's not hard. Like, it is hard, but it's not.
No, it's not fucking hard.
Like, it's
anybody who says it's hard to lose, fuck you, shut up.
Just
put down the fork and get off your ass.
No, but it's just like, eat rice, like brown rice and chicken breast. And if you did that 90% of your, what I'm saying is, it's not hard.
It's not hard.
No, it's not.
It's just, we like to give excuses for why we can't achieve the things, because it's easy to be weak.
Yeah, I know, and also the results are better. So, in, like, you know, say 3 months you get your results, or 6 months you are happy. That's way better, like, in a mental sense than, and then you maintain it for life versus, you know, you're on these drugs and you die. You know?
Buddy, I don't fucking agree. I agree with it. I don't understand it, and I certainly don't understand why we know the side effects now that exist, and people are still gravitating towards it, man.
Well, it's even like I have some friends who are smokers, and I'm like, why do you smoke? And they're like, oh, it keeps me skinny. But I'm like, you're gonna die. Like, you know, like, it
keeps me skinny.
Yeah, but I'm like, because they're scared when they get off the cigarettes, they're gonna gain weight. But it's like, you can balance that by doing, like, you know, like 2,000 extra steps a day, and it would balance out the same weight loss, if that makes sense. Like, because cigarettes, like, because I used to get people off cigarettes all the time. People think it's the addiction that's what they're stuck on. It's not. It's the habit. It's the ritual of doing this. It's not the actual. Nicotine's only 48-hour dependency, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, as a drug, it's only 48 hours. It's out of your system. Coffee's longer than that. So nicotine's 48 hours, but it's that ritual of doing this, ritual of going out with your friends and doing
right.
That's what they have trouble with.
So would you suggest a way to break that ritual?
What I did, because I got, like, so firstly, if you wanted to quit, you would have to be the one paying. So when you put your money down, it's like going to the gym. If you put your money down to go to the gym, you're more likely to go to the gym.
100.
So that's step one. Step two is you have to want to quit. If you don't want to quit, you're not quitting.
Right.
You have to want to do it. So what you do is you basically got to come up with a new ritual. So what I did was, one of my friends, like, she was a smoker for like 8 years, and she always wanted to quit. She found she only smoked in her car. So what I did in her car is I put a fidget spinner, and I said, every time you want to smoke, start playing with the fidget spinner or get a gum wrapper and start doing it. She quit within a week, and she hasn't smoked since. And she was like, I can't believe that. That's how easy it was.
Do you think people...
You got to replace the ritual with another ritual. So it'd be like, you know, it's not the same thing, but say your ice bath was your addiction.
Yes.
You would have to replace that with a hot tub. You see what I mean? Like, you replace it with something better. Or,
yeah.
It's a bad analogy, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Do you think that mentality or routine or could work for any kind of ritual?
I do believe that. So I believe if you want something, you got to plan the way to execute it in order to get it. So, like, if your goal, I'm not arguing that there's addictive personality disorder and stuff, but why not be addicted to fitness? Why not be addicted to clean eating? Why not be addicted to basketball? Like, there's all these other things that are positive that you can be addicted to rather than smoking, right? I'm just using smoking as an example right now.
No, I agree. Do you find that some people...
Anxious people are the ones that mostly are the ones... I find that people who suffer a lot of times with anxiety, they're the ones that are a lot of times the smokers, because I think that helps them with their anxiety. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to... Because I definitely want to touch on the seances, but let's talk about... You've made mention that you help police officers identify...
So detectives have hired me many times in the past to help them kind of learn the profile and how to interrogate people and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because a lot of times with their training, it's not... Like, they're more focused on, like, the legal, like, their uppers are more focused on the law rather than, they're a lot of times just using their intuition pushed into these things. And you're kind of like, there's so many tricks of the mind. There's so many things you could apply that I don't understand why it's not a common thing they're doing, in my opinion.
Right.
You know,
no, I agree, dude. For example, I think all police officers should be a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I think there's certain requirements that police officers should have.
Yeah, and they have a tough job. Like
they do, man, and they're so underappreciated.
I know. Like every time I see them, because I have a lot of like most of my friends are cops, or not. Like a lot of them are like and detectives and stuff, and I'm always like, man. I always tell them every single time, I'm like, I really appreciate what you do.
I do the same thing.
And they always like to me, shut up, Jaymes. They all tell me that now, but whatever. But they're because the best cops are the ones that don't want to be cops. I find.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like that's the for whatever reason, I find the best cops are the ones that didn't want, like their dream job wasn't to be a cop.
Huh.
I don't know why it is, but that's what I noticed.
Do you so let's play a scenario out.
Yeah.
You're brought in to do what?
So basically, a detective was kind of sometimes say, "Oh, I have this weird case. I have this weird guy. Here's a picture of him. Can you?" Or we start talking, discuss, and then we kind of go, "How do you want to kind of pursue it? What do you think of it?" He sometimes asks me for a profile, like, so when you read the person, what do you think it is? So I'll, because what they want to do a lot of times is you want to be close to. If all of a sudden you can get buddy with him, he's going to tell you he's going to slip. So depending on the thing, so if you notice, you both like. You could tell he's a sports jock, let's say.
Okay.
You start talking about sports. Does that kind of make sense? So that's where the profiling comes in, because it's kind of important to kind of, depending on the situation, to get buddy with them. So you want to start talking about, I could tell that he was abused when he was a kid. So maybe you bring out your reference that you just make it up if you have to, that you were abused as a kid. You see what I mean? And that's what we're looking for.
So you think by establishing a common ground, you're
basically building a rapport quickly. That's, I guess, the best way to describe it is I help them build rapport.
Do you think when someone feels they built a rapport, they let down their guard?
1,000%. Because now you're buddy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's when
you find out what's actually happening.
Right. And people will slip when they
1,000%. And there's certain scenarios, like a psychopath, it's hard to be a buddy because you have to almost let the psychopath be in charge.
Okay.
And then you almost want them to brag about it. Almost want to be like, oh yeah, what you do is not bad. Like almost that kind of culture for a psychopath, right? Because you want them to feel superior.
Yeah, that's such
and then you play them that way.
Alien mindset for me to understand.
Yeah, so everything is different, right? So it depends on the person, depends on the case, depends on the degree of psychopathy. But it's like, Ed Gein, for example, because he was not really a psychopath, you would have not done that on him. You would have just went after him and he would have told you, because he was pretty humble and quiet and shy, right? So it's interesting. And like even Dahmer, if you watch him in interviews and everything, he's pretty, like he's insane. I'm not arguing that, but he's pretty polite, right? It's like when you watch Dahmer's interviews, you're like creeped out because you're like, how did this guy friggin' kill like 30, I don't know how many people he killed, but like, how did he do that? And he's so just like nonchalant about everything.
Yeah, I mean, what trips me out is how someone could live without any kind of compassion. Like, I'll be clear, like my enemies, I don't give a fuck about. Yeah. But I don't see how you can lack compassion and empathy for people you care about. But
you don't care about them. But that being said, is if something happened to them, I think not that you would care, but you'd still feel something.
I don't know.
Okay, maybe not. Okay, maybe you are a psycho. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? Like what I mean is you wouldn't care about the other people then. So what I mean is the ones you care about, if something happened to them and it bothers you.
Of course.
That means you can't be
I don't like injustice.
Yeah. Yeah, and the world's full of that.
I know. And that's, I mean, that's sometimes a point of contention for me because there's such obvious injustice. Yeah. And we're turning a blind eye to it, and just the way things are happening in Canada, it makes me angry.
Yeah, because like think about it, like most people in Canada right now cannot barely afford food.
Right, and we're sending all our fucking money to other countries.
And I don't really understand because we're not taking care of our own people.
100,
and like we kind of killed the house market for most people. Like
100.
I feel sorry for the younger. I'm young, but I meant like 10 or 15 years younger than me. How the hell can you afford even a house?
They can't.
Like
dude.
It's unreasonable. It's not fair.
Yep, it's not fair.
And then that's going to increase crime because all of a sudden when you have no purpose in life. Right. You're going to go to crime. You're going to do stuff. You're not going to care.
That's right. I mean, if you pack somebody into a corner, there's going to be acts of desperation.
1,000%.
I agree. Yeah. I fucking agree. And then, we have our veterans who bled, and we have our elderly who put their time and blood and money and effort into this country, and we discard them like they're nothing.
That's why I would never join the army or anything, because I feel like, like you're basically, you get the stuff they see isn't stuff they should ever see.
Agreed.
They get PTSD and then like 2 years later they're like goodbye, and they're on the streets, a lot of them, and you're just like, that's not fair. They should have, in my opinion, they should be paid way more. They should not be taxed at all.
I agree.
What they go through is unreal, and like I don't know why we're taxing our veterans. Like I understand, and they don't even make that much. So even if they're making, let's say, 60,000 a year, if they're lucky, or 70,000 a year, that should not be taxed. So it'd be more equivalent to 140,000.
I agree,
because they go through hell.
Yes,
and they don't get, and they should have lifetime healthcare.
I agree.
Even though our healthcare is not that best, but if you're like insured healthcare, they need to see doctors for PTSD. There's no, like, it's so bad.
That's another issue I have. That mental health is so under-regarded globally. But I'm talking about Canada. It's just...
No, and also the other thing is, if you have an addiction problem or mental health, they're like, okay, we have our free healthcare, but it's going to take you 8 months to go see a doctor.
Right.
So you really think the drug addict's not going to take drugs for 8 months?
Right.
Or, it's yeah.
I agree. All right, let's scroll over to the seances.
Okay, the seances.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us about the seances you
So
perform.
we do a Victorian seance. This is the 10-year anniversary this year. They've all been sold out. So 25,000 people have attended, which is pretty crazy for such a small thing.
Do you believe in the supernatural?
I'm in the middle. Like, I've had stuff happen that I can't explain, but I try to stay neutral, and I think that's why the seances have done well, because I can tailor to both sides.
Okay.
So I kind of, depending on the group, I kind of go with all of you. So I will say it's your experience, not mine. So I'm just focused on all of you, making sure you're all okay when we're doing the seance.
Okay. So walk me through a seance.
So what basically happens is we go to a haunted location. So say a pretty relatively known. Like last year, we were at the C&E at the Stanley Barracks, which is used to be a concentration camp and everything.
Krista was talking about that.
Yeah, which is pretty, like, it's 18,000 square feet, and it has been, like, all these Torontonians were like, we walked by this for 15 years, we don't know what it is, and so we were able to get in, and like, they basically, I tell them all the history of the house. I take them around the house and I see if people are starting to feel stuff, and then if they start feeling stuff, we start doing stuff and see if we can just bring everything up. And that's kind of the essence of the seance.
So, 2 questions.
Yeah.
A, for you to say that you're taking them to a haunted location, do you believe that it's haunted?
So from the stories, they are. So, like, there's a lot of houses that I go in and I'll be with, like, my crew, and we'll be standing there and we hear footsteps in front of us. Or we had one weird night at this place where I was with one of my friends, and we were sitting in the like in one of the rooms, and I swear I don't see anything ever, and I saw, like, the best way I can describe is a shadow, like a Phantom of the Opera looking thing, just go right past me on the other side, and I thought I was crazy.
Right.
Like, I thought it was just a shadow thing, and then I told him, and he was like, "Oh my God, I was here 2 days ago and I saw the exact same thing," but he thought he was crazy, so he didn't say anything. And then for that location, it was known for World War I rehabilitation for people who got maimed in the face and, like, lost their sight. So that would make sense to see that, which we didn't know at the time.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff that's happened to me, but the audience are the ones that really kind of have this stuff happen to them at times.
Okay. So with a seance, you have a number of people. Do you not believe that the energy between the guests bring up
1,000%. So the waiter, I always tell the group, don't ever come early, come later in the month or next month, because we're building it up. All the people coming in builds it up. I start noticing, oh, this is the hotspot for people feeling this. This is the hotspot.
Really?
You start noticing the patterns, and the patterns change every week, right? So all of a sudden, everyone might have issues in a certain area where they didn't 2 weeks ago. So then I start bringing the group to that area first. So it always gets kind of It's hard to know what's going to happen each night.
How do you keep a level head when other people are starting to?
I'm just calm and relaxed. Like, I'm just calm and cool. I think that's the best way to do it, calm and cool, and just make sure everyone's okay. Safety wise, they're okay. And like you said, what you're talking about is a concept called collective unconscious. So it's basically taking everyone's energy or experience, putting it as one, and try to streamline it out.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of times the seances happen. Some nights are really boring, but some nights are really crazy.
Okay. Tell me a crazy one.
So we have had some crazy ones where, like, we had, like, I don't know if you believe in possessions or things like that.
See, I'm like you. I don't disbelieve it, but I am open-minded towards it. I do believe that there are things that we don't understand. Now, one could say perhaps science hasn't evolved to the degree where we can understand it. But because of my creative nature, I always dig the idea of something more, something outside our realm of understanding. Because I just dig it. I think it's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's the other things. Like, a lot of times you don't know what, like, they believe they were possessed.
Yes.
And you can't prove that they were, and you can't prove they weren't.
Right. But you now, from your background, being able to see the intricacies of someone's personality, do you believe in possession?
So basically, I believe they believed they were possessed.
Right.
I think that's what I would believe. Like, I don't know if it was just a form of, like, they got into the moment and had a panic attack. Okay. Which kind of looks like possession.
Sure.
Like, because we had one night where, like, this was a kind of, like, we've had like 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 of them. One night I remember, I don't know why I remember this one, but it was basically that we had an open Divx box, which in the paranormal was like the worst of the worst. Like, you don't,
a Divx box?
A Divx box. It's from Jewish folklore, and it's basically a container that inhabits a demon. And,
Shit.
And you're not supposed to open them because it's bad mojo, and someone sent it to me as a gift. not knowing what it was. And so we had like 100 people have issues with her. We had one night, I'm not making this up at all, I could literally get you their testimonies. He was touching her, went outside and broke his leg. We had another night, someone was touching her, and I didn't know any of this happened. He comes back to me next year. He's like, hey, Jaymes, last year I was touching that Dibbix box, and I'm not kidding. When I went outside, my back tooth fell out. And he acts so nonchalant about it. And I'm kind of thinking, what the hell is there going on?
How do you get one of these boxes?
So
that shit can't be
there's
available.
a whole so there's an underground world with all that kind of stuff.
No way.
And people send me their haunted items. So I have around 300 haunted items.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you ever want me to bring some, I can. Like some of the nicer ones, I think.
Did you see the last Conjuring movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Warrens apparently had that room full of all those objects. So shit like that exists.
It does exist, but it's like, do you want to believe it or not? Because the Warrens were kind of known as being a little.
Yeah, it's disappointing when I found that after the fact.
Yeah,
that
when you look up their actual like track stuff, they weren't nice people.
Oh no. Oh, I didn't know that.
So most people in the paranormal world don't like them.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they were shysters?
They were shysters, and they were kind of mean. Like,
really?
Yeah. There's a lot of rumors about like Ed Warren and stuff, just sketchy things.
Oh fuck!
If you look at it, I don't want to say anything to get caught, but like just if you look into it, you'll know what I mean.
Do you believe in the Ouija board?
So the Ouija board was originally designed as a toy.
I know, buddy.
Which is pretty
crazy. Can you fucking believe that?
I know. And then so the Ouija board, a lot of people have had weird experiences where they say, okay, I was on the Ouija board and something followed me forever. You've probably heard that story a million times growing up.
That's why I don't fuck with them.
Yeah, and the story behind that is basically, or the concept is you're all supposed to say goodbye.
Okay.
And so what they believe is, say you are on the Ouija board and he said it spelled out the name John. So you say goodbye to John.
Okay.
What if it's not John and it was tricking you? So then it's attached to you forever. That's the theory behind it.
Right.
So that's why you want to always close it properly and like kind of figure it out. And that's kind of sometimes at the seances where we were having a crazy night, we're trying to figure out who it is and we don't know who it is. And
so what do you do in that case?
We start calling names of every possible spirit in the house and just close it. And the vibe changes. Like it's kind of crazy. There's been times where these big shadow things come into the room, like pure black. Like the shadow phenomena is really famous around the world. And it's basically, if this room was pitch black, you'd still see it. So if it was in front of it. And so it's coming, there's been times where it's come into the room. All of us are freaking out because I'm seeing it too. And I don't mostly see stuff. And all of a sudden we're closing it and all of a sudden it just lights up. Like I can't describe it.
How do you keep your cool when that shit's happening?
I think it's because I've done 1,400 seances in my life. Like
I know, man, but it only takes one bad day.
It does. Like we've had like not dealing with stuff, but when someone breaks their leg outside, we've had one ambulance come once where someone was having they were saying they were being a panic attack or something like so bad that literally an ambulance had to come and get them.
Right.
So, but it's good for the reputation of the seance, right?
Sure.
So if you want actually something scary, like the seance is that, but like not every night is scary, right? So
right.
It depends on the group. You should do a private group. We should actually just get your own crew and do a private group. That'd be fun.
Like once Mel gets married. Yeah, for sure,
I'll
dude.
talk to her and maybe I'll just give you a private room and we can experience. You guys can bring the videos if you want.
So 100. Yeah. But do you not feel that the atmosphere would be better for two reasons? A, because if you know you're going into a haunted location, you're already
scared because think of the concept. So if I tell you this, so there's a pretty famous experiment actually in Toronto. I think it was in the 70s called the Philip experiment. Have you heard of that?
No.
So what they did is they decided to see how to create a ghost. I know it sounds really stupid, but what they did is they basically took an old house that isn't haunted, no history, and they basically started making up a story about it. Then all of a sudden people started having paranormal phenomena there. So think about it. If I told you this house was haunted or this room is haunted, you're more likely to believe if this happens in the room, you're more likely to think, oh shit, there's a ghost in here. That's good. Rather than, it could just be an old house.
Right.
So the Philip experiment is very fascinating. But the thing with us, we're actually going to haunted locations, like with actual history that's been on TV, been on stuff. Yes. That being said, we don't know, like we're hearing the stories from the TV, we're hearing our history, but how true is it? If someone said this place is haunted, is it actually haunted? I don't know. Right. But the people coming to the audience, they believe it
would be the same going into the Amityville.
Yeah. So the Amityville, where if you went there, you would just naturally be scared because it's the Amityville house, right?
Right.
So
I'd be going into that house.
They removed the eyes, the two big eyes.
That was the worst.
I know, and I was thinking because the house it was on sale for during the pandemic for 1.6 million US, which is not that bad for what it is.
Oh yeah.
And the person just wanted to live there, and they changed the eyes. And I'm thinking in my head, what a waste.
Yeah.
You could have turned that into a tourist attraction. You could have done Airbnbs or something, or you could have done something so crazy there, a seance there, anything. Yeah. And they didn't do anything.
Yeah, those eyes were the worst of that.
Yeah, and
house.
I actually have a piece of the eye, like the original window. Yeah, just that little piece, but that's still pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But they removed it. They literally converted it because they didn't want people to know what it was. And I'm like, that's so stupid.
Walk me through a seance.
So basically, you come to a haunted location. I tell you the history, and basically, the best way to describe it is we're trying different techniques depending on what you're feeling. So if no one's feeling anything, it's going to be a really boring seance.
Why would somebody not feel anything?
It's just the random group. Sometimes you get groups that are drunk, like people that are drunk, because the seance has gotten so popular that I find some days, you get like people that don't know what they're going to and they ruin it for others. And I can't do anything about that.
Right.
But like, you just need to go into it with an open mind, even if you're skeptic, even if you're a believer, it doesn't matter. Because if you're not paying attention to stuff, it's like watching a movie with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think there's a certain amount of self-protection. For example, if you're watching a scary movie, and these motherfuckers always do it, like they do a close-up pan of the face, and as soon as they pan out, there's a motherfucker behind them.
Yeah, so we're not like that. There's no jump stuff.
Oh, no jump scares?
There's no jumps. It's all in your head. So that's why I'm going after your...
But that could be even worse.
It is. It's way worse, because people go home and say, I slept with the lights on for 3 days, or something followed. Like, it's actually like, look, there's thousands of reviews like that, like crazy reviews where people are like, I'm never sleeping again. We had... Like, it's just
good for you.
Yeah, and so they became like, it got voted the scariest gathering in Canada.
Outstanding, good for you, buddy.
Which I don't know why, but because it's not supposed to be that scary. But I think it's because it's in their head.
So do you use a Ouija board at your seances?
Not every seance, depends on the group.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
And why would you pick one versus the other?
If the chemistry is right and the group's right and say stuff is happening, they're really into it. I mean, like, let's try to like expand, like enhance it a bit.
Yeah.
Let's get on the board. And sometimes the board does do some, like we had one night where I remember this, so they're on the board. A lot of times the board doesn't move. It takes forever to make it move.
Right.
And
do you believe, I've heard explanations that your own bioelectrical...
Yeah, so one theory, the science theory, is it's the small muscle movements in your subconscious moving it.
Yes.
So you're not actually intentionally doing it, you're just moving it.
Yes.
So it's another principle, it's called Hellsternism. So what it is if I grab someone's arm and said, think of a corner in this room, and start shaking like this, you're going to give me some resistance not knowing you're doing that, of what corner you're thinking of. So it's the small muscle movements, not realizing you're actually doing it. So that's what some people believe the Ouija board is. And so what happened is we had one night where we were in one room, and basically the board spelled like jackage, like Jackeej. And I'm like thinking, okay, what the hell's a jackage? And someone said, oh, it's a jacket. And one of the person on the board, I'm like, okay, wait, do you have my, because I gave them a piece of paper. I'm like, do you have that piece of paper? Can you get it? They're like, oh no, it's in the jacket in the other room. I'm like, oh, that's weird that I spelled that. They go in the other room and their jacket's the only jacket on the floor. Like, how do you explain that? Like,
yeah, no.
And so there's been a lot of stuff like that where you kind of sit there and go, how is that even possible?
And the issue is that as soon as the smallest thing happens, everyone starts freaking out.
Yeah, they do. Like some nights, there's so much crying. Some nights we had one person shit themselves once. We had
no way.
Dead serious. We had 3 people, and I think pissed themselves. Like, I'm not lying. Like legit.
No, I believe you, dude.
Like, we've had at this location this year, when we were here 7 years ago, we had 4 people vomit, like actual vomit, because they got so nauseous. Because one of the spirits is Gwen Shackton, and she's believed to have poisoned her children with arsenic, like legit. And so I think the vomiting was that feeling.
For sure.
Maybe they were connecting to something. Because I can't argue if they were or not. You can't. I'm not going to. Like, you want to hear one of the craziest, like, emotional stories that ever happened?
Tell me.
So what happened is my very first seance in Ottawa, called the Hindenburg Seance. And basically what we were doing is there was 2 people. It was a lady, like, not a lady. She was like 20 years old.
Okay.
And some random guy.
Yeah.
And I went upstairs and I told the random guy, I just want you to let your hand move. When you're in the room, just let your hand move, kind of like this, but don't think about it.
Okay.
And they're doing it on a chalk, not thinking about it. The girl starts crying. And I'm like, what the hell's happening? Like, we haven't done anything. So I go upstairs and she goes, this room feels so negative that I feel something's in here. And then I felt like my dad protected me. I'm like, what the hell do you mean by that? And she said, my dad recently passed away a few weeks ago, and I felt his presence just overcome me to protect me in this room. So then I went to the guy and I said, what did you write down? And he wrote down like Mr. Cuddles, which does not make, it just said Mr. Cuddles. And I was like, that's weird. And she just starts bawling her eyes out. And she tells me after, the last thing her dad gave her was like right before he died, was a teddy bear named Mr. Cuddles. How do you explain that?
You can't.
And so for that, she 100%, like, to her, that's her dad. I don't know how that's even possible. Was it a fluke that he just wrote that 1 in a billion chance?
Unless
but even if it was, does it even matter? It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, to her, that's her dad.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there and go, like, the whole audience started crying. Like,
right.
Because how do you, how? Like, it's emotional. Like, how? And so stuff like that happens all the time, because I think I'm giving you tools to allow that to happen. Like, what I mean is, like, putting you in a state, putting you in the right situation where things like that can happen. It doesn't happen every night, but it can. Like, that story is something I'm never going to forget.
Right.
Because Mr. Cuddles, like, out of all things.
And see, why I think this is different is typically when you have seances, what's the name of the person who holds the seance? Is there a name?
So they sometimes called the host.
Like, okay, the host.
Yeah.
The host is deliberately trying to deceive the group.
Yeah.
Right. But with you,
It's your seance.
it's right.
Yeah.
So you don't give a fuck what happens.
No, I don't.
Right. So that person who, even if there was collaboration between the woman and Mr. Cuddles, it doesn't affect you one way or the other. So why would they go to that kind of trouble
why? And like, they didn't know each other.
Right.
This guy was like a shy, quiet, like it didn't make sense. And it was insane because I could see from the motion, there's no way that guy knew anything. Like everyone started crying, because in the moment, I know it sounds like the story is emotional, but in that moment, it's insane to be part of. And so like, even just that, her story alone is worth doing 1,400 seances just to have that one time. Because to her, that's a little comfort that maybe her dad was watching over.
Yes. Yes.
And so there's been a lot of stuff like that. And so that's kind of what I enjoyed about the seance is it's not about me. And that's what I tell my audience. It's all about you. Like you guys all made this special. It went like so big and stuff. Not because of me. It's because of everyone, what you bring into it. You give it a chance. You give it a try. And we have some nights that like you sit there going, how is that even possible?
See, what's interesting about this dynamic is that you are a very analytical man when it comes down to looking at the
life too as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in like a person to person situation, you're very analytical. You're looking at facts, like the way I conduct myself, the way I speak, mannerisms. But when you now translate it or transcend into like the seance, it becomes a totally different, because you have one that's very science driven and then one is supernatural.
That's why I think it makes it so special is because I think I'm the host that's like, a lot of people like mediums are cool and stuff, but like a lot of people don't like mediums.
Because they think they're,
exactly. And a lot of people are very skeptical. A lot of my fans or fan base is very like they're doctors, they're police, they're that world. So they're not going to go see a medium, a lot of them. But with me, they're like, okay, the Jaymes is pretty cool. I'm going to go see what it is. And then what happens is the mediums in the audience sometimes take over, which is fine by me. So all of a sudden they go, oh, I feel weird in this area. And then the seance gets enhanced because you're experiencing, a lot of times I'm going through what you, so all of a sudden if you had a weird sensation, I'm following you through the seance and letting you go, where do you feel weird? Let's try something. Oh, you feel weird there? Let's try something. And you're kind of doing the seance, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I think I'm just more the guide, if that makes sense. I'm not, like I'm in charge, but I'm not.
Right.
I kind of just let it free flow and see what people are feeling. And that's why they're all different, so random. Some nights, like Krista had some crazy ones with me in the past that you interviewed earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Her podcast is airing next week.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So,
Halloween, right?
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So she had some like weird ones. Like a lot of people have had weird ones.
Do you ever get scared?
I'm always not scared, but I'm always sometimes worried about some people in the audience. If you see something weird happen or they look not in distressed, I guess. Yeah. Things like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's not about the actual spirits, if that makes sense. I don't even care. Like, not that I don't care. I don't focus on that.
Right. Do you believe people are open or susceptible to suggestion?
I think some are.
Okay. Would you say that they're heightened in a scenario like
you're
that?
You're 100% heightened because you're in a haunted location. Me just telling you, if I told you this building was haunted and you had this history, move. Yeah, you would move, but you would always, any sound you hear, you'd be like, oh, it's a ghost when it could be just an old house.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that
works to your benefit, though, because you give a great experience.
And we're going to famous haunted locations. So it's not like we're just going to some random flat. We're going to known haunted locations.
Right.
So it does help the vibe, because the vibe is there, if that makes sense. It's such a weird thing to say the vibe, but there is a vibe.
I agree.
The vibe is there, that it is haunted. It is creepy. People want to be scared a lot of times. They want to be scared in a controlled sense. And what I mean by that is where they don't have aftermath, like where they don't have... They know that I've done 1,400 seances, which are a lot of seances.
Sure,
They know that like I'm not a pro. I guess I am a pro at that, but I'm known for that. So they know in my setting, nothing's going to be bad, if that makes sense. Nothing's going to work. But I get messages all the time of people having not issues, but going, man, I didn't sleep for 2 days after that seance, or oh my God, that was the scariest moment of my life.
Yeah.
And that's some nights. Some nights are very positive, like.
I think you said something beautiful where you said people like being scared in controlled environments. So what I suspect some of the fear might be is that, and Krista spoke to this, is that when you're playing with a Ouija board or playing with mirrors, you're opening a portal. Yeah. Like, I don't want shit following me home.
Yeah, but you could have it there and get your kind of pleasure and then leave.
Right.
And the other thing is, like, a lot of times with these seances, I have so many haunted items and so many stuff. I bring them in sometimes. Not always, but sometimes bring them in. People are just like, oh my God, this is a 1930s Ouija board. They freak out about that. Because you don't see that.
It came out that long ago?
They came out, the first one came out in 1890.
No shit.
Yeah, the Kenner Novelty Company, 1890. So it's been around for a while. Yeah. So people like the history of that stuff as well, because where do you go find that stuff? In museums
I
in the States.
actually read on the history, and it wasn't until The Exorcist that thing just fucking
blew
took
up.
off.
And it was Fold that got all the money. So the Kenner Novelty Company started it in 1890. They only manufactured for 1 year.
Yeah.
William Fuld worked for that company, and then like 15 years later started his own company. And he's the one that made the millions, right? Because
No way.
they only did it for 1 year. It's like McDonald's. You know, the McDonald's brothers were the geniuses, and then the marketer comes in, and they're the ones that became the billionaire.
Yeah, and they fucked over the two owners.
They offered him like $5 million at the time, or was it $3 million or $5 million at the time, which is like equivalent to like 10 or 12. But like, look at how big McDonald's is.
I know.
So it's
he fucked them over.
Yeah, like I wish he would have like, because they seem like genuine people. Like that. Like when
you saw the movie, right?
I saw the movie and I like read up on them before the movie and stuff. And the McDonald's brothers seemed very like they cared about their product. They cared too much about their product, which kind of screwed them.
Yes,
because they were. But I wish they like even had 1% of ownership or something. You know,
I think they got shafted.
Yeah, they did get shafted. But you would think like long term, because of what they did, like I mean, you would have given them like 10% for 100%. Life. You know what I mean?
Like I do believe that if you have the ability to be good to others in life, you should do so.
Yeah, and that guy, like I know the marketer, I forget his name right now, but he did a lot of like charity work, and he did a lot of that stuff. Like he wasn't as bad as he's portrayed.
Oh no, okay.
He was pretty bad. I'm not arguing, because like the McDonald's brothers should have got like 10% for life or something, and 10% doesn't seem like a lot, but it's probably like they would have made like hundreds of millions of dollars.
They would have made billions.
And they created the whole system of fast food, and they got $5 million. They got $10 million. I know $10 million is a lot of money, but look at how big McDonald's is.
Right.
Yeah. They got shafted because they cared too much about their product. They cared too much about the passion of this.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but I think my philosophy is if you're passionate about something and you're looking to take care of the people, the universe will take care of you.
Yeah, and they have like $10 million is still $10 million.
Right. I think it says more to the guy who shafted them.
1,000%. Like, because I couldn't do that. Like,
I couldn't do that.
It wasn't even his idea. He was struggling before him.
Yeah,
you know.
Dude.
And then all of a sudden he gets it. They blow up because he wants to franchise them and do all this stuff. They didn't really want to franchise, as you know.
Yep.
But like they could have come up with a better deal.
Yeah, they got shafted.
Like a percentage on top of the $5 million or whatever.
Okay, so to end this, first of all, I would love to have you back.
Oh, that means a lot. Yeah.
Oh fuck, are you, dude? Come on. What do you want your legacy to be?
I think I just want to be known as like just a nice person. Like I don't like the spotlight. I know I'm in entertainment. I know like it's been weird this year where like I'm not saying I have more fans, but it's
you do.
They're kind of like when they're seeing me now, you can tell that I'm not saying I'm a big deal, but you can tell it was like, oh my God, it's Jaymes. Like when you started off doing this, it wasn't that, but now there's a vibe, if that makes sense. And I treat everyone the same. I'm kind of like, it doesn't matter if you're famous, if you're rich, if you're not.
I agree, 100%.
I'm like, I've always been like that. So I'm very humble, I guess. And that's how I like to be treated as well.
I'm not humble, but I agree with you that I don't know anything. If you're a good man, you're a good man.
Yeah,
if
so
you're a
I just
piece of shit,
yeah.
I don't care if you're famous or rich or whatever.
So I just want to be kind of known as just a nice person.
That's beautiful, dude.
There's nothing really else. And I think with the seances, like a lot of people were coming up to me telling me like, you know, when I started these seances 10 years ago in Toronto, no one was doing this stuff.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I think the seance in Toronto actually made other stuff open.
Right.
Because they're seeing how big my seance got.
I hate that though.
I hate it, but I like the fact that it did that.
Yeah, I know, but fuck off.
Yeah.
Go do your own shit.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true too. But I'm appreciative of it too. Because like, you know, like I remember the first year I was in Toronto, some person who was in Toronto working in like these small things for 20 years. She's like, Jaymes, you don't realize what you have. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, to break into Toronto how fast you did is almost impossible. For like, I don't get grants. I did this all by myself.
Yep.
And she said to break into Toronto like that and get in the mainstream, like in the Halloween season is almost impossible. And you did it.
Do you only do it like during?
Yeah, so I don't enjoy, not that I don't enjoy the seances, but I agreed that I will do one seance a year for 120 seances a year, and that's it. Okay. So I do one seance in the fall, and that's all. And the rest of the year, I do the mind reading, I do the profiling, I do teaching at universities, all the fun stuff that I enjoy more.
You enjoy more?
I enjoy that stuff more. I don't enjoy the seances much.
Why?
I'm just analytical, right? I like the profiling. Like if I ever do a mind reading show, I'll invite you guys.
Sure.
Like we did one last year, but I don't do them that often as much. But I should bring them back to Toronto.
To say that you read minds, people are going to actually think that you read someone's mind.
Yeah, so what it is giving the illusion I can read your mind. So
sure.
It's using science, suggestion, psychology to give you the persuasion that I could do it. Or like kind of persuade you to do it or make you think a certain way. So if you ask, I'm just going to give it, and we're not going to do it right now, but I'm going to give you a quick example. So
sure.
if I told you like right now, think of a number between 1 and 10, like 7, you're now going to think of 3 or 4. Because 7 is the most common one. So
is it really?
Yeah. So by saying it out loud, you eliminate it. So if I wanted you to think of 7, increase the odds, I'll say think of a number between 1 and 10, like 3. All of a sudden, you're going to go to 7. You see what I mean? It's all about if you say something out loud, you eliminate it.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like little games like that.
Okay. Yeah, and I think there's greater credence in saying that you can read a person's mind based on the fact that there's a lot of science behind it.
Yeah.
But it's funny, when you said pick a number between 1 and 10, I picked number 1.
That's rare because most people don't think 1 or 10 because of when you put the range. No one's going to pick 1 or 10 because you say think of number between 1 and 10. I said it out loud. It's rare that one. It's mostly 7, 3, or 4.
Really?
Yeah. So you're
just,
going to be a challenge to read your
1.
mind later, is what you're saying. But yeah, so it's all like little tricks of the mind. You know, it's almost like putting you in an imaginary box and then kind of getting you to say what I want you to say. That's the best way I can describe it.
How big does body language play into this?
Very big, because a lot of times in the shows, like if I'm doing a mind reading show or something, and I'm trying to profile or guess something, I'm looking actually at their friend beside them because they're the ones reacting.
Really?
Right? Think about that. So if they knew like you had like I don't know, like say you had a dog named Pat. What happens is I'm looking this way. I'm like, I guess since you have a dog, if they react, they're giving me the answer. You're keeping the poker face, but I'm telling from the people beside you because they give it away because they're excited about it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So it's like little things like that. And that's different when you're doing a show versus if you're doing one-on-one. But like,
so that's was my next question.
It helps my job
for sure.
An audience helps my job because you see the reactions beside you. You got to pay attention to besides the friends.
Because when you were going on the signature analysis, talking about the cars and the watches, this fucking guy was like, "Oh yeah."
Okay, so that would have been that's a perfect example. So I would have known. It would have given credit. That's what he would have, right?
Right.
If that makes sense. It's not cheating because it's still like it's.
Listen,
it's observation. It's observation, right?
Any advantage that you could have before you deal with someone, but okay, on a one-on-one situation though, you're sort of handicapped now because you don't.
Yeah, exactly. So you're kind of using like different techniques. So like it depends what we would do. So I would have to see how you think. Because a lot of times with the mind reading stuff, if something's not working, I go in a different direction. You don't know I go in a different direction, and I get you to go to where I need you to go eventually. It's almost like blues. Right. It's almost like blues music is the best way to describe my shows like that because I a lot of times don't know what I'm doing and I just get there. Same for the seances. I just like that free flow, you know. I like that.
And this is the way I like to have the conversations with people. Today I jumped all over the place with you.
Yeah, which is fun. Like it's because there's a lot of
because I was so enthusiastic, right? And we're I think we agreed on a lot of subjects.
We like a lot of the same stuff too.
Right. Brother, man, it was a fucking honor.
It was an honor. You as well.
We're out. Be great.